here we are, Social Service Committee meeting on January the 23rd. And first thing up tonight is going to be our Social Service Commissioner. Hey, Mr. McLaughlin's here.
Here, woman, how are you?
Which way? Michelle McLeod is here.
I don't think he's ever had gummy
Could I
bears.
please have an approval of the previous minutes? So moved. Do I hear a second? Second, all in favor? Any opposition? Hearing none, it's unanimous. Number 1, authorizing agreement regarding the expanded in-home services for the elderly program. ISIP.
Yes, thank you. Good evening. We're requesting permission to enter into multiple agreements with all willing and able New York State approved providers for home care services for the ISIP program, for the Expanded In-Home Services for the Elderly program. And this is for us to contract with these providers to fill the slots for our ISIP program according to their care plan. And this is part of the grant that comes through the Office for Aging.
So 2, are you going to do the both about the ISIP services right now? You want to do 1 and 2, since they all ISIP related? And they both about the, well, one's for the laundry, one's for in-home.
Yeah, one's for the home care, one's for the laundry.
Wait a minute, you got a question on the one about laundry, right?
On the first one.
Oh, the first one, okay, go ahead,
Just
Pat.
a quick, Michelle, Commissioner. All these providers, is there anybody different? These are the same ones we pretty much always, is there anybody new on the list? or-
There's no one new this year.
Okay,
There were a couple new ones last year.
yeah,
but
I remember that,
there's
that's
no
just
this year.
wondering if anything
Yep,
changed.
they're the same.
Everything's been satisfied with them?
Yes, we still, for some of the cases in the rural areas, we're having trouble filling some of those
Yes.
hours. Because if they don't have a volume, they don't want to go out there. But for the most part, they've been satisfactory.
Thank you.
Any other questions about the first item? We're going to do it separate and vote on it separate, because the price is really very good. No more about the first, so you prepared to vote on this one?
Make a motion.
Make the motion to vote it? Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none.
Can I have an abstention, please,
Which one, the number 1?
for number 1?
Okay,
Thanks.
abstention? Make a note of that. Okay, now. Okay, so number 2 is authorizing agreement with New York State Industries for the disabled regarding ancillary laundry services for the eligible individuals in the ISIP program. Michelle?
Yes, thank you. This is requested to have a contract for laundry services for people who are eligible for the ISIP program, and it's up to $100,000 for the contract. And we have right now 97 people who are receiving this service. It's a $24 a bag, and for those people that can't really do that kind of self-care.
Do we have a particular flyer about this program? So there's probably many who don't know about it and being severely handicapped that they might be. Do we have something from the state?
The New York Connects program
Yeah.
is well advertised, and
The laundry service program?
well, not the laundry service comes up. We have to do a care plan, an
Okay.
assessment and a care plan when you enter the ISIP program.
Okay.
And so the caseworker will identify what services
Oh,
that
that's the
you
only
need.
way you get the caseworker.
And then
has to-
they'll
okay.
recommend that you get, it's about half the people in the ISIP program now
Right.
are receiving the laundry services.
Right, yeah, some of them are permanently disabled and things like that, yeah. Any more questions for Michelle about this?
Where's the laundry services located? Where?
Plaza Linens, they subcontract with Plaza Linens, which, where's
That one
I
I
can
can't
find
answer.
out where
We'll
it
find
is.
out and get back to you.
Yeah.
How's that sound?
All right.
it's
Sorry.
familiar, I've
Just
driven
wondering.
by it, I know I've driven by it.
Okay, thank you.
Okey-dokey.
I make a motion.
Motion to, any second? Motion and second. All in favor? Any opposition? Hearing none. We still looking for Plaza Leonard. Okay, thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Yes, we did. Change them all around.
Plank Road in Clifton Park.
Mike Road in Clifton Park, thank you.
You got it?
Plank Road in Clifton Park.
All right, good park. Oh, good old Saratoga County.
Beauty of technology.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, Ms. Gill. Commissioner, good evening.
Good evening,
Hello,
everyone.
Commissioners. Authorizing agreement with the Trinity Alliance of the Capital
Somebody's
Region
phone
Inc.
now.
regarding the provisions of Family and Neighborhood Resource Center services.
Yes, so this is for the COPS funding. It's a funding that we receive from, through OCFS that goes specifically to fund COPS programs that were established. And so Trinity works with primarily residents within the city of Albany to provide a variety of services, including tax assistance during, when it's time for tax refunds, and then just linking them to services that they may need.
Anyone have any questions about this particular program from Trinity Alliance? Did you say something, Doug? I didn't hear.
No, I just want,
You want to make a motion?
yeah, I'm over.
Motion, I hear a second. Mark, got a second. All in favor? Any opposition? Hearing none, it's unanimous. Okay, that's Trinity Alliance. Number 4, authorizing agreement with the Berkshire Farms and the Family Center regarding non-secure detention services.
Yes, so we've had a contract with Samaritan Shelters. They informed us that they no longer wanted to provide services as of December 31st. So we actually had to issue a RFP, and through the RFP process, Berkshire was recommended to be awarded the contract. They have a history of providing services. They actually oversee the secure detention facilities. They provide residential placement for our kids that go through the JD process as well as the foster care process. So they certainly have experience and knowledge when it comes to working with this population. So based on their proposal and just the history and knowledge that they have with working with this population, we would request approval to be able to contract with them for the provision of the non-secured services.
Okay, oh, good. Mr. Lockhart has a question?
Hi, Commissioner, nice to see you. Samaritan's been doing this forever.
I know.
Do you can you tell us what happened? Are they out of business now totally, or are they just
My
not
understanding is that they are not facilitating non-secured services at all.
at all? So
At
then
all.
That's gonna leave them with just...
Wow, that's been many years.
Yes, we have not heard at this point in time if they are looking to go in another direction, but they informed us, I want to say it was back in October, that they were no longer going to look to have the
That's-
contract.
That's a job, that's a, well done.
To us too.
Thank you.
Ms. Touche, you had a question too.
I'm sorry.
If you hear anything, what's happening?
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
Keep us posted, thank you.
Are these pretty short-term or long-term, or does it just depend on the situation?
The non-secured stays themselves, they actually are shorter terms. In most instances, we're talking between 1 to 3, maybe 1 to 5 days, because really, we're still involved with the JDI initiative, Detention Alternatives, so the goal is to be able to see how to mitigate detention placements and really how to be able to maintain youth in their communities.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Yes, Paul Burdoff.
Commissioner, hello, Happy New Year.
Hi, you as well.
Just a question, did Samaritan terminate their contract? So are these folks coming in to complete like a 3-year contract, or
So
is
yes,
this?
their contract, Samaritan's contract was slated to end on December 31st. So had they chosen to continue with us, then we would have brought a renewal for them for 2018. However, because they expressed that they no longer wanted to have the contract, we had to issue a whole nother RFP. So this would be the first with an option to renew for 2 years.
Okay,
with
so
Berkshire.
this is really then more than a 1 year. So this is 12 months with
The option to renew.
2 one-year renewals.
Correct.
So does it give us the ability, after trying them out for a year, to not renew?
Yes, we do have the discretion. Yep.
Ms. Lockhart, you had a follow-up.
Just another follow-up question, Commissioner. I'm very familiar with Berkshire, of course. But for the localities, where are police departments and family courts going to send these kids? I mean, they're out in Canaan.
I know, so I will say that is what has been the feedback.
Yeah.
In terms of just Samaritan was locally, their facilities were here. I will say that I reached out to the local law enforcement agencies to apprise them, sent an email, but also reached out with a phone call. And only 2 really gave voice to the concern about the distance. And I will say that Berkshire has been very workable, if you will, in terms of how to be able to facilitate this transition. I will say for those youths that are remanded in the courts, in the family courts, they have said that as long as the youth is being remanded from court, they will facilitate transportation. So even if the court doesn't end until 5:15, they're not going at, court officially closes at 4:30, so after that, transportation is on whomever, which would be the sheriffs in this instant. They have said that they will go by the court calendar, so if it ends at 5:15, they will still facilitate transportation. So I will say they have a recognition of this as well, and so they are being very amenable in terms of how, they can be flexible in making this work as well. And they also indicated in their proposal that they are looking to have a facility in more of the immediate Albany area.
Because why people try to prevent from even having the place in the first place overnight, there is that need in the middle of the night when you have a kid and that's going to be an issue, I think, because you can't go to the secure.
If they were JD, they could.
Well, JD, but not of these ones are.
Yeah, right, but the pins, no, correct.
Ms.
Thank
Murdoch,
you.
did you have a question?
No, we took,
Okay, got that. Okay, Joanne.
So, there's something in here where, it indicates that they're going to make every effort to keep ties with the education, the school then.
Yes.
So, is everything more complicated now because of the distance issues? Like, how do you do that if you have to, before, did you bus them to school?
No, it's really providing the education on-site and really being able to facilitate contact with the local school districts to see where that child, what their educational plan is, what their subjects, and actually Berkshire also has a residential facility where they provide education on-site, so that actually might be a little bit more seamless in
Okay.
terms of being able to have that connection and have the education continue.
Okay, so the local school districts aren't required to send their own staff?
Oh, no.
Okay, so it's not like a student that has an issue and is at home where the school district actually has to make arrangements to...
Right, no, that part
Come to
of the provision of facilitated non-secured services is that
Okay.
it's also within the statutes and regulations that they have to provide for the educational needs of the youth.
And how about the families? Do we provide transportation for families that can't?
That's actually something that Berkshire outlined in their proposal, that if the family was not able to get there on their own, they would facilitate and assist
Okay.
with transportation.
And have you been to this facility?
Yes, actually, I have visited the Canaan campus.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Any more questions?
I'll make a motion.
Make a motion?
Second.
Second? All in favor? Any opposition? Hearing none, it's unanimous. Thank you. Authorize an agreement regarding the Capital Region Behavioral Health Care collaboration.
Sure, if you don't mind, I'll have Maura present this, as she's
Certainly.
been working with this.
Happy New Year, Maura. Good to
Happy
see
New
you.
Year, everyone. Thank you. We request that we go into an agreement with the BHCC, as they're calling it, the Behavioral Health Care Coordination Collaboration. And basically, this is getting us prepared for value-based payment in the mental health and substance abuse systems. What we want to be doing is work more closely with physical health, because we know when someone has mental health related issues, there's also a lot of physical health concerns and problems that arise. So instead of looking at a volume-based payment, which we're currently doing by fee-for-service, we'll be looking at a value-based payment to really show that we're looking at the whole person and that the wellness and the well-being of that person is being addressed. So it'll be really, do they have housing? Do they have their basic needs met? So it is changing the focus a little bit in our clinical treatment, But in the end, we will have these array of services and a continuum of network providers that we can utilize. So at this point in time, there's no money related to this, but it is just an agreement that we would become a network provider for children.
Any questions or concerns?
So you guys do readiness for the providers to kind of facilitate their getting prepared for VBP?
That's what the money is supposed to be infused to
Right.
help all agencies, but I do have to say they were just focused on adults.
Okay.
The children were just brought in the last
Right.
3 months of saying, really, we can't leave the children out of this. So there is a meeting at the end of this month to talk to the BHCC, to really have everyone collaborate, and what is the long-term plan? What do we need to do? And where are people in being ready and prepared for value-based payments? Because it will be the way Medicaid is paying us.
And in the sector that I work in, all contracts in home care that are Medicaid, home care contracts, had to be VBP compliant by the end of this past calendar year. Do you have a similar time frame for the behavioral health provider community?
They were really shooting for 2018, like July, August, but because of the unbundling of waiver services and the Medicaid, now they've pushed that out to 2020.
Okay.
So for children, you know, they always think it's going to be easy to implement health homes or other things, but children are not just a single person. We have to think of the whole family.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions? There's no fee for this
No.
resolution at all. Is there a need for you to? No, you can still
No,
vote.
oh, no, I'm
You
fine.
can still vote on it. Good
Yep,
enough.
motion.
Motion to make. Seconded, all in favor? Any opposition? Hearing none, is unanimous. Number 6, amend the resolution number 227 for 2017, which is passed, regarding reimbursements for administrative costs pertaining to children with special health care needs program.
Yes, thank you. So as you referenced, we did receive approval through Resolution 227 in 2017 to be able to contract with DOH for administrative costs as it pertains to this program. We recently received notification that there has been a COLA that has been applied to this grant, and so we are seeking approval to be able to accept the COLA that has been applied to this grant.
I'll make a motion.
Motion's made.
Second.
Second, all in favor? Any opposition? Hearing none, is unanimous. Authorizing agreement regarding the Children's Advocacy Center and amending the 2018 Department of Children and Families budget.
Yes, so the Child Advocacy Center is located at 260 South Pearl Street, and this is really where we're able to comprehensively address those reports that we get of either sexual abuse or serious physical abuse in a way that we are looking to mitigate any additional trauma to the child. So the idea behind the Child Advocacy Center is really to be able to have all those providers that would potentially need to have interaction and interview the child, to be able to come to the center and to have one interview and really facilitate getting any needed information, and then really to be able to coordinate services. We have various partners involved with the Advocacy Center. Why am I stumbling over that one? Which includes law enforcement, medical personnel, the DA's office. So it really is a very comprehensive partnership involving various stakeholders and systems.
Any questions?
I'll make a motion.
Make a motion.
Great program.
Sure
Thank
is.
you.
Ms. Lockhart, is that what we set out on the concrete?
Yes, it is.
I thought that was when they were sitting on the first, sitting outside when they opened the program. Great program.
I hope to buy it for them.
Yeah. Did we hear a second?
Second.
The second, all in favor? Aye. Unanimous. Approved.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gail. Okay. We have lots of programs here for the Office of the Aging. Mr. Scott Ziegler, oh, that beautiful tie. I think spring's in the air. Just look at this tie, it's gorgeous. Open up your eyes here. Good evening, sir.
I could remove it if you
I
like.
guess, it's beautiful. No, Authorizing the acceptance of grant funding from the New York State Office for the Aging and agreement with the New York State Office for the Aging and Department for Aging and Social Services regarding the Central Assessment Unit for the provisions of home-delivered meals and adult daycare services.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is actually wellness and nutrition funding, about $52,000 that we provide to DSS, who is our contractor for providing the assessments for home-delivered meals.
Anyone have any questions to Mr. Siegel about this program? Do I hear a motion? Motion's made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, it's unanimous. Number 9, authorizing agreement with Peter Young Industries regarding the provisions of home-delivered meals for seniors. Mr. Siegel.
Thank you. Again, Madam Chair, actually 9, 10, and 11 are all for our home-delivered meal program. We have 3 providers that do that for us, and they're all excellent. Heavily grant funded, so this year we were actually able to budget creatively to vastly minimize the county share for this particular program. Which we're a little proud of, but basically.
Home-delivered meals, number 9, 10, and 11, Peter Young and Ravina. And the other one was the Senior Services of Albany. I hear a motion for these, lumping them together, and I hear a second. Motion to second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, it's unanimous. Okay. Now I lost my spot when I lump, I get confused. It's on number 11, authorize agreement with Senior Services of Albany regarding the provision of home-delivered meals for seniors. I did that too.
Number 12.
Happy New Year. Okay. Authorize agreement with the Colony Senior Service Center regarding the provisions of congregate meal services for seniors.
Thank you, and again, in a similar spirit as home delivered, with the next 3 are large congregate meal providers, all the same as we've had in the past.
I'll make a motion.
Motion's made, I hear a second. Second is all in favor? Any opposition? Hearing none, it's unanimous. Number 13, authorizing agreement with Senior Projects of Ravina regarding the provisions of congregate meal services for seniors. Number 13.
Make a motion.
Motion's
Can I
made.
just ask one
Okay.
question? Do we know what the unmet need is in Albany County for Meals on Wheels?
Good question.
For Meals on Wheels,
This is Meals on Wheels, right?
this is congregate. Meals on Wheels was a few before. we
Oh,
moved
okay,
those
so I'm
together.
sorry, but that's what I'm asking. Yeah. So, well, I mean, what is the unmet need for really either? I mean, do we have an unmet need?
If we had an unmet need, we wouldn't really know about it. We have the capacity to meet more than we're doing now.
Okay,
We're constantly looking for different creative ways to get out in the community, to spread the word.
okay,
Through New York Connects, we do assessments all the time. We had one, I can give you an example, we had one case just within the last few weeks out in the Hilltowns, a gentleman that we actually just kind of came across by happenstance.
Okay.
There was no real formal, nobody called, there was no visit, there was no assessment, but someone out there who, saw the need, contacted us, and within a day, that individual was getting our services.
but you have to meet an income eligibility in order to access this, right?
Actually, not for home delivered meals.
Oh, you don't? Okay,
There's no income eligibility. There's a capacity
right,
ability where if you are homebound
Right.
some way, or you don't have a caregiver that is there to assist you with making those meals, then that's more than adequate to
Okay.
qualify for these programs.
okay, but you don't think there's any unmet need? That's great.
I would never say there's no unmet need. I'm
Okay.
certain there's an unmet need out there. I only know what's brought to our attention.
Okay, so you don't have a waiting list or a similar?
Absolutely not. No,
Okay.
not for home delivered meals.
Okay, thank you.
Got a lot of eyes and ears in our communities, that's good. And even the mailman, everybody calls in when someone hasn't responded lately. Yes, Paul?
What age do you consider a senior?
60?
60?
Well, that's the age the State Office for Aging considers as.
Okay, well, it's funny because everybody has a different threshold.
Social
For,
Security,
for
62.
funding purposes and bureaucratic purposes, it's 60 years old.
Okay.
Okay, Mr.
Yeah,
Mike.
Chairwoman, just to kind of complement what Mr. Siegel said and further answer Legislator Cunningham's question, you know, generally speaking, we know that we could penetrate the community better, and we work pretty much every day to do that. I don't say this flippantly, but the county's not very good with advertising and marketing. So, to his point, you know, we're constantly trying, you'd be shocked at the number of people who, like, I know this sounds a little ridiculous, but don't know what SNAP is, food stamps. There are people that don't. They actually exist, and we try to get out into the community and let everybody know, work with community organizations. Some people are very skeptical of what we do. There's a whole host of reasons. You know, we know there's an unmet need, and we try very, very hard to kind of make sure anybody that qualifies for a benefit gets that benefit as efficiently as possible. So that goes beyond just home delivered meals.
Okay, thanks.
Eyes and ears in our community. We encourage everybody to report when they think someone is underfed or in need of nourishment in our community. Did you have a question, Mr. Bullock?
Yeah, do you go in front of the large apartments where the seniors are and you make a presence there? No?
Many of them are actually congregate meal sites,
Many of them?
particularly in the city.
Okay. All of them?
No, not all of them,
Yeah,
for varying reasons.
right, right.
I would love to have a site in all of them. That would be spectacular. That would definitely put us on the map. You know, in a lot of cases, there are only so many providers to do the service. So if I have another half a dozen facilities that want that program in their building, we can financially make that happen. We don't really have the resources, the manpower to have that program there. I mean, our providers of both home delivered and congregate meals are the only providers that.
Could you give me a list of the apartments, because I got 3 or 4 of them in my district.
Oh,
That you
absolutely,
serve, and I'll know what you don't.
absolutely. Yeah, I'd be happy
Number
to.
14, right?
Yes.
Any more questions?
Thank
Any more concerns? Anyone want to speak?
No.
No?
Motion?
Okay, motion's made. Do I hear a second? Motion is second. All in favor? Any opposition? Hearing none, unanimous. Thank you for that. Authorizing agreement with Senior Services of Albany regarding the provisions of congregate meal services for seniors.
Motion?
Motion's made. Okay, moving second, all in favor? Any opposition? Hearing none, that one's unanimous. Authorizing agreement regarding long-term care point of entry services.
Thank you. This is New York Connects funding. This is the last of this funding we're going to see.
Oh, it's going away?
This ends in, I want to say the end of March.
Oh, dear.
Quote me on that, big rip.
Wow, well, we had it
Yeah,
since
the end of
2012, so
March.
it's gonna go away?
The New York Connects funding,
New
the
York
specific funding has gone away. So you may notice since last year, it's been cut in half. As of the April 1, that funding is gone. So they're giving us what's left of our allocation. And that goes to pay for New York Connect staff and DSS.
Okay. Any more questions or concerns about
do.
this issue?
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir, go ahead.
what's our transition plan?
They don't provide the New York Connects funding anymore, but what they did was rolled it into what's called BIP, or the next item on the agenda, which is the expansion and enhancement funding for New York Connects. So it's a much, much larger pot of funding that's largely subsidized by the federal government rather than the state. The New York Connects was strictly state funding.
New York.
So this is just transfer.
Okay, so it's not really the end of the service.
It's not, no,
It's
no,
just-
no, not the end of the
okay,
service, just the
alright.
end of
They
that.
just
particular-
renamed it and it's
And it got a bigger
fancier.
pot of,
No
got a
wrong
bigger
door.
pot of money.
Yes, exactly.
Go to the big pot now, yes, right. Okay, thank you. Any more questions or concerns about that? Long-term care point of entry, number 15, do I hear motion? Motion's
motion.
made, I hear a second. And seconded, all in favor? Any opposition? Hearing none. Number 16, authorizing agreement with the Albany County Department of Social Service and the New York State Office of the Aging regarding the New York Connects expansion and enhancement. This enlarged program, could you tell us more?
Sure. As I just mentioned about a minute ago, this is, this bid program is taking the place of New York Connects. It's still called New York Connects. I believe they're going to continue to call it New York Connects. There's been a great deal of advertising lately regarding that program. And as Mrs. Cunningham mentioned, they also call it No Wrong Door. That's what they want to start using. It's basically a single point of entry for services for the elderly, for disabled, for you name it. They are all supposed to get funneled through, it's basically a hotline, and gets funneled through one. Exactly.
Motion?
Motion's made, second is made, all in favor? Any opposition? Hearing none, it's unanimous. Your final one, Scott, is authorizing agreement with the New York State Office for the Aging regarding the Senior Community Service Employment Program. Now, this is a new one, isn't it?
This is not new. In
It
fact,
is? Oh, we've hired them all? I didn't know. Go ahead, tell us more. This is for us.
I'm actually disappointed to report that this is likely the last time I will be here asking for Title V. We refer to as the Title V program. The state has opted to move to a regional platform for this program, which will be effective July 1st. So our program, this program that you're, hopefully will approve this evening, will carry us through to the end of June. We have 3 people on the program as we speak, and 3 more that we'd like to get on as soon as possible. And that's, I'm very proud of that program. I'm unhappy that they're gonna move to this new platform, but
So if the counties aren't going to be the contracting entities, who's going to do it regionally?
they're gonna put it out to bid.
Oh, so we could apply for the contract.
We could,
But
but we don't have that capacity.
Oh.
It's you're looking at probably, it would be similar to like the Economic Development Councils, where you'd be serving a 6 to 8 to possibly 10 county region, and with a staff of, we have 1 person doing that program right now, and realistically, there's no way that individual could cover that kind of territory.
So who does the state think they're going to get to do those?
I'm not sure. I
Contract.
doubt there's a county entity that
Yeah.
would want
I
that
mean, if
kind of
Albany can't do it, I
responsibility.
can't imagine you're going to get,
You'd have,
you know,
you'd have to
Oneida
have people,
County.
you'd have to have the ability to have people out on the road, traveling from county to county all the time.
Yeah.
So I am sorry to say that they're moving that way, because I love this program. We're putting people to work, we're building taxpayers. I mean, I'm very proud of this program, and I'm sorry to see it go. And so is our Title V coordinator. But, they're.
I identified
Ms.
Ms. Lockhart to speak after her, so she can get her question.
Yes, if I can just ask, this was it state funding before this new takeover, or was it still federal then too?
Title V is federal.
Federal, right, okay. So now the state's gonna get that instead of us, right?
Well, the state has always gotten it, it's just.
And then they send it down to us?
Correct, yeah, so it's always been federal, and then it goes to the state. They,
And
I
it's
guess
only
they've
been a
cut that.
10% county share, right?
Correct. I guess they've cut that funding a little bit, so rather than divvy it up to every county and just see it drop, they want to go regional.
So there won't be that county share anymore either, correct?
Correct.
Right. I wonder if they're gonna take over any other expenses on some of the mandated programs.
Fingers crossed.
We should stay abreast of this. Thanks a lot, Scott Siegel. That was your final one. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion.
The motion's made. Do I hear a second?
second.
All in favor? Aye. Do I hear a motion to adjourn for this evening?
Motion to the next.
So I'm staying for this next committee meeting. Are
Unanimous
you going to
motion?
go back to your
Yeah,
office?
for a couple minutes, yeah, I'll see how long it's stick around.
Because you want me to take this?
Motion is adjourned.
I'll walk your list and I'll give this.